Hey guys, today we are talking all about organized fridges. Hey everyone, welcome back. For those of you who are new, my name's Marianne. I live in Canada with my husband and two kids ages 3 and 4, and I make videos on simplifying motherhood through easy organization. Today I am sharing my top 10 tips to create an organized fridge. Having an organized fridge has saved us so much time and stress and money, so I'm hoping these tips give you some inspiration to create a really simple and organized fridge as well. So let's get into the tips. All right guys, tip number 1 is to only have in your fridge where you're actually going to eat and use. If you follow along on Instagram, you know that I grocery shop every 2 weeks. So every other Friday, we come home with a carload full of groceries and we shove everything into the fridge. Throughout the weekend, we spend a little time here and there getting the fridge organized and ready for the week ahead. By buying and keeping only what we actually use, it makes it 10 times easier. If you only follow one tip, limiting what you actually bring into the house and what you have in the fridge is going to be the biggest game changer. This leads me into tip number 2, which is to meal plan. If you don't meal plan now, I know it kind of sounds like a bit of a pain, but honestly, it doesn't take long, especially once you get used to doing it, and it is such a sanity saver throughout the week, and it is a foolproof way of only buying what you need and making sure that you don't overbuy. And if meal planning sounds super foreign to you, if even just having a grocery list when you go to the store, not having a list is such an easy way to end up having a fridge that is so overwhelming, you don't even want to look in it, wasting food and therefore wasting money that you spent on that food. Tip number 3 is to prep produce. Fruits and veggies are the one thing in your fridge that have a high chance of going bad before you use them. So doing as much as you can for prepping that and making it easy to access, easy to grab, is going to reduce the chances that you're going to have to throw it out. Some of our go-tos are just cleaning apples. It is wild how just having a clean apple with no sticker on it in that crisper makes it so much more likely that I'm just gonna grab it. All we do is put it into a sink full of water and vinegar and let them dry and throw them in the crisper, and we're good to go for the week. Another big one for us is carrot sticks. When we just peel, chop, and throw them in a glass jar with a little bit of water, and they're ready to go. I can either use them for steaming for a dinner side or roasting them for dinner, or we will just use them as like raw with carrots and dip. We often have grapes too. At the beginning of the week, I take all of them I take the grapes right off the stem, I rinse them in some water and put them in a bowl, and then I can literally just grab them to put in their lunches or grab them to have for a snack or side dish. Same with melon. We buy a lot of cantaloupe or say watermelon. I will chop that right up at the beginning of the week and have that in a container. Greens is another big one for us. All I do is rinse it off in cold water. I wrap it up tightly in a tea towel and then put it into a plastic bag and throw that in the crisper. And I've been doing that for quite a few years and it's always worked really well for me. I've done it. Okay, number 4 is to utilize containers. Having items or categories of items into containers makes the whole fridge more organized. You can see everything and you know where things are. There are a million fridge and kitchen organization products you can buy that are all look absolutely dreamy and amazing to me. However, I tend to just try to utilize what we already own. If you know me, you know that I love glass jars. I get all of them for free or for like a few cents at the thrift store, and they look so pretty in the fridge and it keeps things so fresh. I prepped some smoothies. I think it's an old pickle jar. It stays good for days and days. Another one is bowls. So like any bowls you have in the house. So this is just like one of our pasta bowls that I have all the oranges in. It just makes it look so cute and easy to access so that you're more likely to grab them. Same thing with tomatoes. This is just a bowl that we have that we would use, like I would use for like a potluck salad, just like a pretty little white bowl. Even just you can see, I've talked about these in other videos, but these little silicone cupcake or muffin holders, I use them for everything. And we had just like a few little cherries left. So I didn't have a bowl small enough, so I just put them into this cute little purple container instead of them getting wasted in forgotten in the back of the fridge. I know that plastic containers have become a bit of a faux pas, and I totally get that. However, we have a ton of them. The fact that I have them, I really just can't justify completely getting rid of all of them and getting everything glass. So as like they get lost or as they get broken and damaged, I can definitely see us replacing with more glass containers. However, use what you have, and if you have plastic containers, just because they aren't on trend, I really highly recommend you use them. One item which I did buy, and it was a bit of a splurge for us, are these stasher bags. I'll link them below if you've never heard of them. They're just a plastic reusable bag, but they are so awesome. The steel is so strong. You can microwave with them, you can freeze things in them. They keep everything so fresh, and they look good, and they don't stain. I've put so many meatballs, put a lot of different stuff in this. I use them for everything. I use it all the time. This is the only one I have because they are not cheap. However, they are amazing. So if you are ready to invest a little bit, or if you're just wanting to try one out, they really do live up to the hype. On the other end of things, any old bag will do. This is our cheese, and it is currently in an old bag that we have wraps in. It has a zip at the top, so it keeps it super fresh. So don't overcomplicate things. Don't spend money you don't have. You probably have most of what you already need in your house. And related to containers is creating categories. Within your fridge, chances are you probably have like loose categories that just kind of have come about. I know for us, in this section right here is always where our milk lives. This section up here is typically where I put my lunches. This shelf here has kind of unofficially become our leftover section, and Scott usually takes leftovers for his lunch. So we don't even have to talk about it. He kind of knows that anything on this shelf is fine for him to take, and so he just grabs it in the morning, puts it in his lunchbox, and he's gone. If I had older kids, or if there were a big family with a ton of different people grabbing things out of the fridge, I could definitely see labeling the categories being super helpful. Any type of label always makes it easier for our brain, less to think about, less to process. Okay, tip number 6 is to organize by like timing or expiry date. So kind of like the first in, first out method. So a really easy, perfect example is milk or dairy products. As of right now, you can see we have 2 cartons of milk. We put the one at the front that's going to expire first, and then so on behind it. Same thing with produce. I know that tomatoes and grapes are 2 of the first things to kind of go bad. So I will put those right front and center, so I use those up before they're bad. So then things like carrots and apples, I put in the crisper because they could last weeks in there and they'd be totally fine. So a small shift, but can make a big difference. Number 7 is to remove packaging. When I'm prepping the produce, I'm taking the grapes out of the bag. If my oranges come in a bag, I will rip that bag, get rid of it, and then put the oranges in a bowl, or even just sometimes in the crisper. This week, I also bought some veggie burgers and veggie sausages, and I do not need the instructions for these. So I take the packaging right off, and then I slip those right into like our little cupboard here with our kind of meats and stuff like that. Having less packaging is like less of a distraction for your brain. Number 8 is to keep things at the front of the fridge. Having things at the front, A, makes it look more appealing, it makes it look better, but B, it reduces the chances of things being lost in the back or in the black hole of the back of a crisper drawer. Keeping everything right near the front, it reminds you every time you open the fridge that that item is there and that you should eat it rather than getting takeout pizza. And this leads us into tip number 9, which is to create an aesthetically pleasing fridge. We don't care what anyone else thinks of it, but just having aesthetically pleasing, it's gonna make you want to eat the food in your fridge. If we looks good and we have a bowl full of beautiful grapes, we're more likely to eat those. Number 10, my last tip is to create a habit. So by making the shift to spending a little bit of time every week or month, keep an organized fridge is going to create a habit. You are going to get better at it, you're gonna get quicker at it, it's gonna become part of your normal routine, and you won't even think about it anymore. It's gonna make shopping easier, meal planning easier, you'll be able to see what you have, you will throw out less food. I promise that it will become second nature to you. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope this inspires you. I hope it helps to encourage you to create simple and organized fridge as well in your home, so you can spend more time doing way more fun things than organizing your fridge. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.